Every Sunday I'm front center, looking forward to playoffs. And I keep me a double wings, cause you know I gotta have it. Yeah, they say I'm just a fan. What? Well, I say I'm a fanatic. And I fast forward commercial too. I ain't going to the bathroom. You know where I'm at, I ain't hard to find. You can catch me in the lab room.
Who else could it be but me, your man, Louie T. Welcome to Thursday Night Football Overtime. Chiefs, Broncos, AFC West family business. And you know how the family do it, or do you? I'm not quite sure. Is this what you signed up for? I kind of knew this was going to happen, but I thought the Denver Broncos defense might actually be a little bit better in this game. Their offense is just terrible, man. It is just Medusa. Hard to watch. And you know what can somewhat make you a bit... You know what's misleading is when you watch the Broncos games in fast motion. Like when I watch them on the Game Pass and they chop it up for me and I just get to speed through, it makes their ineptitude seem less tough to stomach, I guess. Man, is this offense bad. And I knew it was bad. I've watched the games. They don't score any points. Every game looks the same pretty much. They're going to score anywhere from 20 to 16 points, somewhere in that general vicinity. And if the defense shows up that particular day, they might win. If it doesn't, they'll probably lose. And I thought maybe they might put up a fight tonight. I thought with a gimpy Patrick Mahomes and the way the Chiefs' defense had been struggling, I don't know, maybe they could have showed up and made it a contest. I didn't expect them to win, but I didn't think they were going to get their asses handed to them, and I didn't think Joe Flacco was going to get sacked 29 times. Man, does he look like an 80-year-old in the pocket. Like a deer in headlights. He refuses to run. Look, that offensive line is trash. Garrett Bowles is horrific, okay? He's a bust if I've ever seen one at left tackle. That experiment, they need to kick him inside the guard or something. They got to try something else with Garrett Bowles because it is not working at left tackle. He's a holding machine if I've ever seen one. So that offensive line is pretty bad. But Flacco doesn't do them any favors by just standing there and waiting for someone to come and get him. And when they blitz, it's as if he doesn't know where his hot routes are or who's got a quick route where he can get rid of the football or just throw the shit away. Like, the sack for the forced fumble, I mean, if that's not 80-year-old Joe Flacco, I don't know what is. I mean, that was pathetic. They sent two guys through the same gap, and Joe had to see them coming. And even if he didn't, what the hell are you doing, dude? Like, seriously, it was like he had a walker. Where were you going? Like, what are you doing? Get rid of the damn football. And he's fumbling all over the damn place. Like, it's one thing to get sacked. It's another thing to be fumbling every damn time you get sacked. Like, Joe's got to take care of the damn rock. So, man, they had no run game tonight, which if Joe's going to stink like that, if the offensive line is going to stink like that, then you're going to at least have to run the football somewhat to take some of the pressure off the passing game. I'm going to tell you right now, and I talked about this during the breakdown for Noah Fant when I was doing my draft Prospects 101 series. I told you, his hands are suspect. Told you that. I said, Noah Fant wants to catch the football with his body. All right? You're seeing that first hand. All right? No, the first throw should have been caught. That was just pure. It was two things. I won't just say it was a straight drop. All right? But he thought he was going to get waxed. You saw him turn his head quick to kind of check to see where the safety was, and then he looked back up and the ball was there. He still wasn't going to catch the shit because his hands aren't A1. He needs some jug machine work. That's what he needs. And lots of it, okay? This was a problem at Iowa. But the second one was Joe underthrowing him, but still should have been caught. Like, Noah Fant's been dropping footballs all year long. So that's something he's got to clean up. I'd hate to have him have the stigma of guy with stone for hands, 2 feet for hands. So it's a lot wrong with the Denver Broncos offensively. Then the coaching staff, it was just a big ball of funk tonight from the Denver Broncos. So the first half, I'm trying to coach up Vic Fangio. And, it's a lot of old guys out there. And when you got a bunch of old dudes, you don't really know if they just don't know or if they're just old. And it's like trying to teach an older person how to use technology and you're just like, what are you doing? Come on, listen. I'm trying to show you. Like, at the end of the first half, I was like, dude, take a timeout. It's 3rd and 13. Matt Moore is in the game. He's not converting 3rd and 13. Call timeout. Okay? Save yourself 40 seconds. And what does Vic do? Vic takes a whole lap around the sidelines, looking around, letting 40 seconds bleed off the clock. So by the time they get the football back, it's 55 seconds and you've got 3 timeouts. What are you doing? Come on, guy. Seriously? That's what we're going to do? We're going to let 40 seconds bleed off the clock? Now you want to try to do something with the ball? Then Flacco completes a pass over the middle of the field, and they got receivers switching sides of the field. You got 3 timeouts. Well, 2 at that point. Use it. Oy vey. Man, that was some rough stuff there, man. But that's what you get with a first-year head coach, too. But, man, that was some hard stuff to watch there. Boy, the Broncos, when they stink, they really stink, man. Good grief. Anyway, the Chiefs, yeah. Damn, Mahomes got hurt. He'll be all right, I think. At least we know it's not an ACL, MCL, PCL, UCL, LCL, none of the L's, right? It's got something to do with his kneecap. We all saw the kneecap out of place and them popping it back into place. And we all saw Mahomes start out like, damn, my kneecap was just to the right of my knee. And now it's back where it needs to be, but I got to readjust my leg. And so it took him about 10 steps before he's like, all right, it feels better now. I think he'll be all right. I'm no doctor, and everyone was playing doctor on Twitter. And that's always fun to watch when every doctor out there watching the game decides they want to tweet about what is possibly wrong, but they always throw this at the end. But I don't know. I'm not sure, but it seems like it's probably something to do with his kneecap, some kind of ligament damage. Maybe there isn't any ligament damage. That's the real argument on Twitter right now is there ligament damage? Isn't there? He's going to get an MRI tomorrow. At the end of the day, he's going to miss some time. That's what it sounds like. Whether it's 3 to 4 weeks or it's 6 to 8 weeks. That seems to be the general vicinity of what the time frame is going to be. And if it's no structural damage, no ligament damage, then it sounds like it's a 3 or 4 week injury. If there is some structural damage or some ligament damage, then it sounds like it's 6 to 8 weeks. That's what everyone's saying. We'll see what happens. Bottom line is they're going to win this game. All right. They're going to get 10 days off. They'll have a chance to reassess everything. I don't think he's playing in the next couple of weeks. And it's funny, my man Sean Mack said before the season started that this was going to be the year of the backup quarterback. No one wanted to hear that because no one wants to see guys get injured. And he's right, man. I don't recall a season in which so many big-named quarterbacks got injured. It's one thing if a bum quarterback, for instance, the Redskins, Case Keenum gets injured. You're like, okay, Case Keenum got hurt. So what? All right. It's one thing if one of those guys gets hurt, but when it's Ben Roethlisberger, Drew Brees, Patrick Mahomes, you're like, whoa. Slow down. Wait a minute. What? What? Yeah, it's been that kind of year where it's a lot of these guys going down, and it's crazy. Nicholas Foles went down. I mean, it's been a wild and crazy season for quarterbacks. Hoping that it's no, ligament damage and nothing serious, and he'll be back on the field in no time because he's so much fun to watch. And even on one leg, with the ankle injury he came into the game with, he still was about to shred the Broncos defense. I mean, we saw that coming. They were well on their way to scoring another touchdown when he got injured. They ended up having to settle for a field goal, but they were going to score a lot tonight. And the biggest issue for anybody that thought the Chiefs were going to lose this football game going into it, the biggest issue with the Chiefs wasn't necessarily that the offense was bad. Patrick Mahomes' injury has affected the offense because part of his game is being able to extend plays and make something out of nothing, which is the opposite of what Joe Flacco was doing tonight. But the biggest problem was the fact that they just didn't have the ball the last two games. Teams were using their biggest weakness against them, which was their inability to stop the run, and using that as kryptonite to keep them off the field offensively and really bog their offense down by just simply keeping them on the sidelines. Well, the Denver Broncos are the anti-bog a team down by keeping them on the sidelines team because they can't convert on third down. So they're constantly going 3 and out. They're giving the ball right back to the Chiefs. They were going to score points tonight. So it was going to get ugly at some point, whether that was first half, third quarter, late stages of the third, early fourth. At some point, I was going to come on early tonight and talk about an ass whipping. I just didn't expect to do it with Matt Moore at quarterback. But when you're as bad as the Broncos are on offense, these things can happen. So not really much to discuss. Tyreek Hill, good to see him get involved. Took him a while, but he got involved and chucked the deuce. Not really much to talk about in this game. I'll just go to the comment section and see what you guys got to say. Again, not really much here to see. So, anyway, let's get to the comments. And I got a super chat. Big Blue Rising says, Lou, no more defending Flacco. He's straight doo-doo. I told you, I'm not here to defend regular season Joe. Okay? I'm here to protect the integrity of playoff Joe. Okay? Joe, cool. Now, and by the way, I'm also here to protect late game Joe. All right? Because like Troy Aikman was just talking about Joe when I was watching the game before I came on. And he was like, there's no sense of urgency. Joe Flacco's just kind of moving around out there and he's not really having a sense of urgency. There just seems to be no kind of hurry at all. And I'm looking at him like, Troy, bruh, this is Joe Flacco we talking about, man. Like, if Eli Manning had a slow cousin, it'd be Joe Flacco. Like, Joe's not speeding up. Joe only knows one speed, all right? Now, if the only way you get Joe's heart rate to kind of go a little bit faster is if you put him in a situation down by 5, a minute and 42 seconds left, his own 17, and 1 timeout. Now you got Joe's attention, all right? If you say, hey, Joe, we're putting you on the road in the playoffs, go win a game, now you got Joe's heart beating a little bit. But if you tell Joe, hey, man, you down 17 in the third quarter, Joe's like, okay, I hear you. If you tell Joe, hey, man, you down 10 in the fourth, Joe's like, okay, cool. You're like, but Joe, we got to speed up. He's like, all right, I heard you. But Joe, you still going at the same rate of speed. What are you doing? I heard you. That's Joe Flacco. All right? So, you're right. Joe is doo-doo. I cannot deny that. However, I'm still here for the playoff Joe, and I'm still here for late game Joe. We've seen late game Joe twice this season. All right? Against Chicago and against Jacksonville. I'm here for late game Joe. I cannot defend Joe quarters 1 through 3.5. Okay? You got me. Hands up. I'm guilty as charged. You got me, Big Blue Rising. I cannot defend Joseph any longer in quarters 1 through 3.5. Late stages of the fourth, game on the line, I'm still here to defend Joseph. Okay? You take Joe into the playoffs, put him on the road. I'm here to defend Joseph. Regular season Joe, quarters 1 through 3.5. You got me. Hands up. No more defending Joe. He stinks. All right. With that out of the way, let's get to some comments. Ricky L says, didn't you say this Broncos team was your surprise wild card team? Hashtag you got some explaining to do. Yes, I did. I cannot walk back from that. I absolutely thought that this team, I thought Vic Fangio was going to take this defense and turn them into an absolute beast. Okay? I thought this defense was going to be one of those teams that you were going to find it hard to score on. And we started to see glimpses of that the last 2 weeks versus the Chargers and who they beat last week? The Titans. You got to take those opponents into consideration. Those are two offenses that are struggling right now. So, and one was family business with the Chargers, so they know them very well. But I said this before, they could easily have come into this game at 4-2. Probably should have, with both losses at home to Jacksonville and Chicago coming late in the game with the officials helping out. I can't deny that I thought this team was going to be a surprise wild card team, and if not for some bad calls, and again, I still put it in the lap of the defense. Even though those bad calls were made, they still had chances to get defensive stops. Against Chicago, yeah, they made a bad call on a roughing the passer, but then you still gave up a 25-yard pass over the middle to Allen Robinson to get him in the field goal range. So, like, the officials didn't do that. In the Jacksonville game, you got him right where you want him, and Von Miller does commit. I didn't like the call, but it was, by the letter of the law, it was roughing the passer. He clobbered him all upside his head. Like, I mean, they threw the flag. What do you want to do? You still had a chance. That was early in the drive. You still had a chance to keep them from methodically driving the football down your throat and kicking a walk-off field goal. So, they've had chances. You're right. I cannot tell a lie. I thought the Broncos were going to be better than what they were this year. So, Storm says, Deron Johnson says, will the Ravens beat the Seahawks on Sunday? No, they won't. Storm says, the Mahomes injury makes the AFC and AFC West side open. I think you missed something there. John Gruden may end up winning the division. It's so crazy how much things can change on one play. I don't think the Raiders are going to win the division because of this injury. It heightens their chances. It gives them an opportunity. But, I mean, they went to London and beat the Bears. That was impressive. They actually dominated that game. And if not for a Derek Carr pitch to nowhere, that game probably is a blowout. But that's no here nor there. They won the game. They still got to go to Lambeau and win this week. Like, they still got to win some tough games in order to close the distance. But they're right there. And let's say they go to Lambeau and win. It would change the whole tenor of this division and how I feel about the Raiders. But I don't anticipate them going into Lambeau and winning this week. And again, the Chiefs, we've seen teams with backup quarterbacks, and Matt Moore is a capable backup in this league. We've seen teams with backup quarterbacks come in and steady the ship. Gardner Minshew has played well in Jacksonville. Kyle Allen has played well in Carolina. Teddy Bridgewater has played magnificently in New Orleans. So, and hell, even Chase Daniel hasn't been terrible in Chicago. So we've seen a ton of backups come in and at least steady the ship. I wouldn't be surprised if Matt Moore was able to do the same. So I wouldn't go as far as to say that the Chiefs would be in a perilous state without Patrick Mahomes for, let's just call it a month. I think they could be able to survive. DMV fan says, holding machine if I've ever seen one. But you got to watch Morgan Moses every Sunday. Yes, but it's not as egregious with Morgan, though. You're like, Morgan does hold quite a bit, but not like this guy. I mean, he is ridiculous. I mean, he's got to lead the league in holding penalties. I know Morgan Moses led the league in penalties in total last season, but that was false starts included. I guarantee you Garrett Bowles right now has to be among the lead leaders in holding penalties. Gotta be. The guy is a holding machine. Reese says, the Madden curse strikes again, Lou. It forgives no one. You know what? I never used to be a Madden curse guy, but it's so hard to deny the facts. All right, year after year, every now and again one guy may get skipped, but there have been more years of the guy that's on the cover getting injured or something bad happening to him than years that it didn't take place. So, the Madden curse is not undefeated, but damn it, the record is really good. Like the Madden curse is probably like 62-1-1. Okay, like with like 49 KOs. Like he's knocking dudes out. Like the Madden curse is for real. Reed also says, I didn't know Matt Moore was still in the damn league. Matt Moore didn't even know he was still in the damn league. You heard what Joe Buck said. The man was in scouting for the Miami Dolphins when he got the phone call. He's like, you want me to play football for you? Oh, okay. Matt Moore was done. He was moving on, like they said, to the next phase of his life and his career. Let's see. Oh, y'all are killing me tonight. Y'all are killing me tonight. I don't mind, man. Bring it on. I deserve this. Oh, y'all are giving me the work. Y'all giving me work tonight. That's cool. I'm all for it, man. Reese says Noah Fant has hands like a snake. Yes, he does. Reese says, hey, Reese, you stupid. He says Vic Fangio looks like a mob boss. He's gonna whack whomever performs for me. He does. Vic Fangio looks like, I told you, he looks like Robert De Niro to me. I said that on the video where when I talked about him being introduced as Broncos head coach. I said he looks like Robert De Niro. You know, Robert De Niro is the classic mob boss. Like, I swear Vic Fangio looks like a mob boss. I'm right there with you, Reed, man. You stupid, man. I'm done with you. Anyway, let's see. Where am I? Here we go. Ricky L says, did Sean Mack predict Mahomes getting injured before the season started? Goddamn injury reaper strikes again. No, I don't think he put Pat down, but he put a bunch of quarterbacks down. So he said this was going to be the year of the backup quarterback. So he's been right, man. Got to give him credit on that. The 20th Mike says, all the veteran quarterbacks are getting hurt this year, Lou. Shaking my head. But this game sucks. Fox got this one wrong, which is why I got up here nice and early, okay? Ricky L says, he definitely got an L tonight with the injury. Let's see. Nick says, Sean Mack be saying everyone's going to get hurt all the time and will give you the injury. I told you, man, Sean Mack was all over this. We did this in the offseason, and we killed Sean Mack then for it. But it's come to fruition, man. It's come full circle. DMV fan 123 says, so many rules in place to protect the quarterback, and they still get hurt. What the hell is going on? And a lot of times, these injuries don't take place in the pocket. A lot of times, it takes place elsewhere. You know, Mahomes gets hurt on a quarterback sneak. Well, some of these injuries, okay, a lot of these injuries take place in the pocket. I don't remember how Ben's injury happened, but Nicholas Foles' injury happened on a touchdown pass in the pocket. Drew Brees' injury happened in the pocket. Now, Mitchell Trubisky's did not happen in the pocket, and Cam Newton's didn't happen in the pocket. So it's mixed. It's 50-50, I guess. But yeah, you're damned if you do, damned if you don't, I guess, is where what I'm trying to get to. Reese says, Pat Mahomes makes something out of nothing. Joe Flacco made nothing out of nothing all the time. It reminds me of the old song, nothing from nothing leaves nothing. You got to have something. And Joe had absolutely nothing for us tonight, man. Nor has he had anything for the Denver Broncos pretty much all damn season. Atlas says, when does Drew Lock come in? Drew Lock's not even healthy right now. He's still on the mend. But at some point, you got to think if Drew Lock gets healthy and the Broncos are 2-7 and Lock's ready to go, what the hell's stopping him from getting thrown into the fire? I don't know. Maybe they'll Dwayne Haskins him and proclaim he's not ready. I don't know. Prince Neo 22 says, big game this Sunday night. I guarantee the refs make sure Dallas wins. Good for the network ratings. These refs are ruining the game. I don't know about that, but the refs have definitely put their thumbprint on this particular season already. And we're not even halfway through the season yet. Junior 13 says, not trying to knock the Broncos, but it's the norm to go after a young mind, not a defensive coach for like 30 years. So this was the thought process. And I explained this when the hire was made. All around the league, it's a trend to go get the young, hot offensive coordinator, the young offensive mind. And you usually look to marry him with a young quarterback. That's the move right now in the league. You got a young quarterback. You want a young offensive mind that can grow with that young quarterback for years to come. Again, everyone's looking for the Drew Brees, Sean Payton model. That's the way you want to go about it. The Browns did it with Baker Mayfield, marrying him with Freddie Kitchens. You look around the league and you'll see that's the move. The Jets went and got Adam Gase. Why? Because they want him to be with Sam Darnold for many years to come. And you just go all around the league and you look at teams and what they're doing with these young quarterbacks. Now, if you feel like you have a defense that is ready to win, now you go get the defensive-minded guy. Hence, the Buffalo Bills go out and get Sean McDermott. Why? Because at the time, they had Tyrod Taylor. They weren't looking to marry him with a young quarterback. They were looking to marry him with an excellent defense, and they wanted him to get the most out of it. Now they have a young quarterback, and now they're just trying to find the right coordinator to pair with Josh Allen. Same thing with the Denver Broncos. They weren't looking to marry Drew Lock with an offensive-minded guy. They were looking to marry Joe Flacco with a defensive-minded coach that could get the most out of this defense because that's the strong suit of this football team. But again, when you look around the league, that's the move. Young quarterback, young offensive mind. And that's the way things are going. Jared Goff, Sean McVay in Los Angeles, so forth, so forth, and so forth. All right. That's the move. All right. Deshaun Watson, Bill O'Brien. Bill O'Brien's not as young, but offensive-minded guy with the young quarterback. That's what teams are looking to do. So generally, when you don't do it that way, you run into issues. And the biggest issue is if that offensive coordinator is any good, if he's got any chops, he's going to end up getting a job. And then you're going to have to look for a new offensive coordinator. And then you're going to have your young quarterback's head spinning because he's in his third system in 4 years. That's how you destroy a quarterback. So teams, to bypass that, get the coach to be an offensive guy so you don't have to worry about that coach leaving for another job. He's going to be with that quarterback for years to come. So the only way you're able to get past that is if you have a veteran and a guy that you trust that no matter whom the offensive coordinator is, they'll be just fine, i.e. Ben Roethlisberger in Pittsburgh. Mike Tomlin has been there for quite some time, and Ben has been through 3 or 4 different offensive coordinators because they all get jobs, Todd Haley, Bruce Arians, so forth and so forth. But it doesn't matter because Ben's fine adapting to the new guy that comes in. Same with Tom Brady. Even though Tom's had pretty much a stable situation in New England, whether it was Charlie Weiss for a good minute there, and then it's been really Josh McDaniels for a really long time. And there was like this brief hiatus where he went to Denver and then he came right back. So, but again, Tom Brady is Tom Brady. You just bring a new guy in, I will figure it out. Tom will make it work and you just keep it moving. But generally speaking, you want the young quarterback with a young offensive mind. That wasn't the case in Denver because they thought they could win with Joe Flacco and excellent defense. So you go get the defensive coordinator and turn him into a head coach. It's not working right now. DMV fan says they need to put Bruce Allen and Dan Snyder on the Madden 21 cover. Good one, DMV fans. 1, 2, 3. Good one, man. Good one. I like that one. That's funny. Believers Talk says, will Denver ever put in Brandon Allen? No. Atlas says, also, so tired of teams thinking they could just go for 2 because of analytics. I knew they weren't going to get it in this the second they wanted to go for it. I didn't have a problem with it. I just had a problem with the play call. Like, if you're going to run it in that situation, don't give me the trickeration and try to spread them out. Like, either you're going to spread them out in like 13 personnel, or you're going to just Either you're going to spread them out or you're just going to run it and put all your guys on the field. Like, I would have preferred that they just run it smash mouth wise. Like, they had 2 receivers on the field. They had ghost motion with Emmanuel Sanders, and I thought they should have just given him the ball. I thought he would have scored, but they went weak side run. You know, it wasn't a good run. It just wasn't a good play. I just didn't like the play call. I didn't have a problem with them going for it though. Anyway, Reese says maybe your boy Drew Lock gets a shot next year. Pretty sure he will. 49ers fan. Oh my gosh, I knew somebody was gonna bring this up. I knew somebody was gonna bring this up. I was thinking it when I watched the commercial. I was like, this is a really bad commercial. All right, this is so poorly timed. 49ers fan says, laughing my ass off. Lou, did you see the Redskins Vikings Thursday Night Football commercial? Josh Norman can't wait for those deep throws. LOL. Oh my God. I said, oh my God, I just threw up in my mouth. Josh Norman can't wait for those deep throws. Right, to sail over his damn head as the receiver catches it and runs into the damn end zone. I was like, man, this is over. You could tell they shot that commercial before the season started. That was a really bad commercial. I was like, but what are they going to do for the Redskins anyway? Because we stink. There's nothing to promote. Like, I wanted them to say something like, but the game's not in Washington, but I said they're not going to be that harsh. I want, because some of them commercials, man, they was getting in with the trash talk. I was like, I want them to be like, we're going to come in and take over your stadium or something like that. Oh man, I wanted them to say something like, "You guys think you're gonna win because you're close," or something like that. But they're not gonna kill us like that. And plus, like I said, the commercial was filmed before the season started anyway. But I just thought it was funny. Anyway, continuing to move on. Let's see what we got. 49ers fan says John Elway needs to take some heat for some of these teams he's putting together. He's gotten a pass because of that Super Bowl, but he's starting to really, really grow thin on a lot of fans out there. And I think that pass that he had for winning the Super Bowl, I think that thing is almost out of mileage, man. He's literally about to start getting some serious heat in Denver for real, because he's had a tough go of it finding a quarterback not named Peyton Manning. And if Drew Lock isn't any good, I think that's when the clock starts ticking and they start taking that hourglass, turning it upside down, and when it runs out of sand, his time is up. Because he's already went through at least 4 or 5 different quarterbacks. There was Brock Osweiler. There was the kid from Northwestern, Trevor Siemian. Obviously, the first-round pick of Paxton Lynch. Now it's Drew Lock and it's Joe Flacco, and it was Case Keenum. He's been through at least 6 or 7 different quarterbacks since Peyton Manning, and none of them have panned out. If Drew Lock doesn't work, I think that might be the death knell for John Elway. So we'll see what happens. Let's see. Continuing on, Nick Riley says, or 49ers or Niners fan says, how about Alex Okafor? Dude has been low-key an excellent depth pass rusher these past few years. When he's not hurt, he's been a really solid edge rusher, man. That goes all the way back to his New Orleans days. The problem in New Orleans was he just was always hurt. But even back to Arizona, he was quality there. He was quality in New Orleans, and he's quality for the Kansas City Chiefs now. Nick Riley says that player would lead the league in holding if they actually called it on him is David Bakhtiari. You know it. You know it, Lou. I don't know. I don't know about that David Bakhtiari. I like David Bakhtiari. I like him a lot. JP says, what's going on? Lou, sad to see Mahomes go. Well, it's not go now. It's not like the man died. He'll be fine. He didn't tear his ACL or anything like that. It doesn't seem like it's going to be a season-long injury. So he says, hope he's okay. Plus, greetings from Pennsylvania, where my girl and I are staying the weekend. Hey, enjoy yourselves, guys. Niners fan says, could Vic Fangio be on the hot seat if the Broncos spiral this season? I don't think so. I don't think so. I mean, how many one-and-doners can you have? I know my man got 2 years last year. Last time Vance Joseph got 2 years, but he was trash. I don't think so. Reese says all the great quarterbacks are getting hurt, yet Jameis is out here fully healthy. Amen. Before Sunday's debacle over in London, Jameis was playing pretty good, actually, man. Like, there was week 1 where you were totally off the Jameis bandwagon. Then there were all the weeks in between. And then there was week 6. 4 out of 6 isn't bad, right? Right. I guess. Believers Talk says, Sam Darnold's injury didn't happen in the pocket. Well, at least not the pocket on the field. You guys are on one tonight, man. You guys are really good. Really witty tonight, man. I love it tonight. I love it. Let's see. Let's see. Bree says, you reminded me of Eddie Murphy when you saying the nothing from nothing. Hey, Joe was so bad tonight, man. I'm just disappointed in Joe this year, man. He looks like he's an old-ass man in the pocket. I remember there was once upon a time where Joe would actually run. It wasn't very fast, but it was effective. Joe won't even try to run anymore. It's bad. Prince Neo says the Redskins should trade away Dwayne Haskins, then package a trade with Trent Williams to Carolina for Cam Newton, since they like their backup QB. Nah, I'm good. I'll pass. Reese says, we're cracking you up this evening. Yes, you guys are. JP says, Terry McLaurin for Offensive Rookie of the Year. He's in the running. He's in the running. Junior says, Denver needs to Miami rebuild. Trade away all those older Super Bowl 50 pieces. Fire Elway, bring in a young offensive mind. I don't see the defense. I think is close enough to where you don't want to do that. Offensively, you're not that far away either. Phillip Lindsay is a stud. Cortland Sutton is a beast. I still love E-Man Sand. And I know Noah Fant hasn't been impressive early on, but he's still an athletic marvel, and he may be able to turn it around. So there's enough stuff. That offensive line needs a rebuild. That is a fact. There isn't many guys worth salvaging on that offensive line. So that's something that they definitely need to take a look at. But outside of that, there's enough stuff on that Broncos offense to get you excited that if they just had a couple of other guys, mainly a trigger man, they might not be as bad on offense. I'd like to see a guy with some wheels, a guy that could extend plays out there in Denver. They get somebody like that, they probably wouldn't be all that bad, to be honest with you. That's why I think Drew Lock is a guy that could work in Denver, man. I really think he's a guy that could help. Let's see. JP says, you think Elway will be fired? No, not yet. There needs to be a groundswell for that to happen. Like, there should already be, but again, he's still living off of 2015 Super Bowl. That starts to wear off about 4 years after you win it. Remember with Tom Coughlin, it took him about 5 years to get fired after the 11 Super Bowl because they hadn't been to the playoffs. I think it was 2016 they went to the playoffs. The first year under Pornstash, that was it. But remember, there was like a 5-year hiatus from the postseason after they won the Super Bowl in 11, but he had a pass for like 4 years, and then after that 4th year, same thing. Remember, John Harbaugh in Baltimore, they won the Super Bowl in 2012, and then they had a stretch there where they had to blow everything up because they pushed all their chips into the middle of the table to win the Super Bowl. They paid Flacco all that money after the year, and they had to purge the roster to be able to pay him. And there was like a downward spiral for Baltimore for a little while there where they weren't as competitive. And then people started calling for John Harbaugh's head after like 4 or 5 years of them kind of being a middling team. And then he won last year, won a division, and it kind of got everybody off his back. You get a pass for a little while when you win a Super Bowl. So Elway is still kind of running off of that. That's going to run out here shortly, though. But I don't see him getting fired quite yet. JP says, if the Broncos don't get the Drew Lock pick right, then Elway is in what I like to call gots to go situation. I think I tend to agree with that. Reese says, I didn't mean that about Jameis, Lou. I'm still pissed off at him right now. I know. There's a little bit extra there. And I know Jameis can win you back over, but that was a rough one on Sunday. I must admit, that was a rough one to watch. Reese says, do my boys beat the Titans a week from Sunday? It's possible. I want to see what Ryan Tannehill does. Does he give them a spark? If he, in fact, does do that, you could be in trouble because that Titans defense, I don't know if you know this or not. And I got a podcast coming out tomorrow talking about the Titans. That Titans defense is really good. In case you guys haven't been paying attention, they might gobble up Jameis, and he might throw another 3 or 4 picks. So there's always that. Niners fan says Chris Harris needs to get up out of there and move on to a contender before it's too late. And he's on a 1-year deal. He could leave after this year. I'd like to see him go somewhere while he still has elite traits as a cover man, because he can do it outside and inside, and there are plenty of teams that could use a slot the caliber of a Chris Harris Jr. Ricky L says Noah Fant is the Nathan Peterman of tight ends. I won't do the man like that, but he's been really disappointing early on in his career. But I'm not one to throw around the B word. I think he's going to be just fine, but I just think he needs some work. KR says, how about them Nationals? World Series champs, you heard it here first. I don't want to talk about the damn Nationals. Makes me sick to my stomach. Junior 13 says, I really thought Matt Moore disappeared and never recovered from that wild card hit. Oh, yeah! Forgot about that Bud Dupree special he caught in the playoffs. Man, was that a hellacious hit. He says, LOL, poor guy, man. Still feel bad for him. He wasn't making enough to get hit like that. Not lying. Super facts right there. Storm says, best games to watch this Sunday. I think Cowboys-Eagles is going to be really good. Seahawks-Ravens, I think, has a chance to be a really fascinating watch. I think I want to see what Ryan Tannehill does in that Titans-Chargers game, but I'm not saying that's one of the games you got to key in on. But that's a game. Lions-Vikings is really interesting. Really, really interesting. Because the Vikings are red hot on offense right now, but if anybody could cool them off, I think it's the Detroit Lions. So those are just a few games that come to mind. John Gruden got a 6-year pass after winning the Super Bowl, despite mediocre to slightly above average football. Again, a Super Bowl gives you a pass for a while. Fans are usually drunk off of a Super Bowl for at least 3 to 4 seasons. It's only after then they start to realize, hey, what the hell's been going on the last 4 years? And then they start to get angry. But you win a Super Bowl, it buys you a ton of time. The Niners fan says, I don't know why people are killing Noah Fant. It's his first year. He's playing with the trash QB. I'm not going to kill him. I'm just going to tell you that I had an issue with his hands at Iowa. It's carried over to the National Football League. It's something he needs to address. That's all I'm going to say. So, with that being said, I am completely out of comments, and that's going to do it for Thursday night football overtime. Chiefs, Broncos. Let me check the score real quick. I think the game should actually be over by now. But in any event, I'm going to check the score. It is over. 30-6 is your final score. Chiefs defeat the Denver Broncos. Chiefs get to 5-2 on the season with the win. Obviously, the biggest story from this game is the injury to Patrick Mahomes and the severity of that injury. Everyone will be essentially on pins and needles tomorrow awaiting the MRI results to see how severe this injury really is and how long is it going to keep one of the brightest stars in the NFL on the shelf. He was right smack dab in the middle of another MVP potential campaign. For my money right now, it's Russell Wilson, Christian McCaffrey, 1A, 1B, but Mahomes was right there as another candidate trailing those guys. This is going to put a damper on that back-to-back run for MVP, but I just want to see him get healthy and get back on the field. I mean, let's face it. If not the Texans or the Chiefs, then who in the AFC to give the Patriots a run? I mean, seriously, that's what it all boils down to. With no Roethlisberger around to try to give us hope, it's either got to be the Chiefs or the Texans. It's got to be one of these young guys, changing of the guard to take over. And if Mahomes isn't ready, I still don't think the Texans are legit, even though they went to Houston or they put up 53 on Atlanta, which not saying much with the Falcons defense these days. And then they go to Arrowhead and win. I still feel like something's missing with that Texans team. I don't know. Just me. Anyway, that's going to do it for your man Louie T here on Thursday Night Football Overtime. If it's not your man T, it's not the best NFL coverage it could be. Thank you guys for joining me on such short notice. I mean, this game was ugly, and you guys realized it, and I appreciate you checking me out during the game. And so look out for the latest installment of the Louie T Network podcast. I'm back like cook crack, and this was an excellent episode, so I hope you guys enjoy it. It's a very informative episode, and I'm just glad to be back. I haven't posted an episode in quite some time, but I'm back like cook crack, and so look out for that. And like the video, subscribe to the Louie T Network if you haven't already done so. But in any event, I'm your man Louie T, signing off. Until next time, you guys have a good one. Take care. God bless, and good night.
Louie T Network.